Games with Jeff. Resto Druids have been pretty good in Legion, arguably the second best healer in Mythic Plus, after Holy Pally of course, and a solid second tier choice in raids. They are versatile enough to do at least decently well on any encounter, and they shine in fights like Argus, ANR, and most especially Verimathras. I mained a Resto Druid for all the raiding that I did in Legion, Nighthold, Tomb, and in Taurus. It's been a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed the versatility of the spec. But what about BFA? Will the changes in BFA make Resto Druids continue to shine, or will they begin to lag behind a bit? While it's tough to say for certain, I believe they will continue to be towards the top of the pack. Of course, unless you're doing world first mythic progression or pushing 20 plus keys, you should just play whatever spec you enjoy the most, or whatever your guild or raiding group needs the most. The loss of the artifact weapon is really pretty inconsequential for Resto Druids. First of all, the artifact ability Essence of Gonir, which makes all of your hots tick twice as fast, has been added into the Flourish ability, so we're one of the few classes that gets to keep those artifact abilities. It sucks to lose a few particularly strong passives from the weapon, like Mobile Tranquility and Dreamwalker, but in the scheme of things it doesn't really matter all that much. Most of our healing comes from Rejuve and stacking hots, and not much is going to change in BFA. The Resto Druid rotation is very straightforward. Cast Rejuve on everything that moves, put down Efflorescence if 3 or 4 people are likely to stay in it throughout its duration, and try to Wild Growth immediately after damage comes out. If you're super fancy, you can even keep Life Bloom on your tank. The trick to Resto Druid healing is having those Rejuves out when you need them, and conversely not placing them, and thus saving mana when they aren't needed. Alternate Essence of Gonir, or Flourish in BFA, and Tranquility, and you have some pretty decent healing cooldown coverage for really any fight. Resto Druid talents haven't changed much for the first few tiers. At the 15 tier, Cenarian Ward will likely continue to be the best choice, as the hot it leaves boosts their mastery and can be placed on anyone who needs that extra heal. Prosperity can be taken if you want the extra swift mend, but is generally not as helpful. With the removal of Healing Touch, the Abundance talent now buffs Regrowth. I'm skeptical that this talent will see much use, but maybe Regrowth spam will be the new meta. Let's all hope not. In the 30 row, we've lost Displacer Beast, which is sad since it was the best talent by a pretty wide margin. I'd imagine that Wild Charge is the best replacement now. Instantly fly to any ally's side without wasting a global cooldown. The extra speed of Tiger's Dash will likely not prove necessary on most fights, but may be handy on one or two. On the 45 row, take Guardian if you want to live longer, Balance if you want extra range, and Feral if you want to just quit healing and become a cat. The 60 row is still CC oriented. Typhoon is great when you need interrupts, like on the Imps on Portal Keeper. Mass Entanglement is great when you need roots, like on the Wall of Ads on Coven. It's all good stuff. The 7th row is always interesting. I like Cultivation because it's passive and helpful and helps people not die. Tree of Life can be useful as another strong cooldown to alternate with Trank and Flourish, while Soul of the Forest was really strong back in previous expansions. It'll be interesting to see if it becomes strong again, because it was pretty lackluster in Legion. Spring Blossoms is a clear choice on the 90 tier, probably even for some movement fights. If there is a chance it'll be helpful, I say take it, and none of the new talents it's up against are especially compelling. The Trank cooldown can be handy, but you need to know the fight damage patterns pretty well in order to see that extra usage, and Spring Blossoms is just one more hot that buffs your mastery. Now, the 100 tier is very interesting. Germination is really good on small heroic groups. You can double or rejuve everyone all at the same time, and shoot up on the healing meters, but in Mythic situation it tends to steal all your mana. Flourish is going to be a solid choice I think, since it's essentially 2 abilities in one now. The double dot tick rate is really strong. On the other hand, this new Photosynthesis talent, which makes your rejuves tick 30% faster if Life Bloom is on you, looks really strong. That sounds like a pretty substantial buff to the our best heal by far, but only time will tell if it stacks up against Flourish in Mythic progression. Overall, I feel like Resto Druid is in a pretty good place. While we might not be as sought after as Holy Pallies or Resto Shamans, I feel like we do bring quite a bit to the table. Losing Displacer Beast and Mobile Trank kind of takes some of that away though. Blizzard did a really good job of balancing healer throughput in Legion, so much so that it was mostly utility that determined the healing tiers. It'll be interesting to see if things play out the same way again. Regardless, I think Druids will be a good and likely versatile choice. Although I played Resto all of Legion, I feel like it's a time for a change, at least for me. I had a great time though, and I would recommend the spec to anyone who feels interested in what it has to offer. It's straightforward enough to start, but it becomes much more difficult to master as you continue. It's really a lot of fun. Thank you for checking out my video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you just want to chat about Resto Druids or healers in general. Peace, guys.